Oh, are you lucky you clicked on this video today? Today only, for a 2-for-1 deal, you get 2 Talladega races for the price of 1 video. Yes, sirree, Bob, we are going to race not only in the Xfinity Series, but we are going to get a Cup Series hot seat at Talladega. So, it's double the plate racing, double the 3-wide, double the big one. Let's get qualified in Xfinity and see how we can do in race 1 of a 2-race Talladega weekend. Well, this weekend didn't get off to a good start because guess who hit the skip qualifying button? I guess technically the old motorsports business management team missed tech. At least that's what I'm going to say we did instead of just David hitting the Y button. But anyway, we're off and racing here at Talladega. Nice and sunny for the Xfinity race. Ty Majeski losing the draft already, or at least falling quite a ways back. So obviously 25% races both for Cup and Xfinity. And obviously with the 3 stages as well. So it's going to be all about in this first stage here, getting up through the field, or at least as high as we can get, and seeing what it gives us. We were pretty good at Daytona earlier this year. Unfortunately, we kind of got screwed by a car having a mechanical issue in the middle of the pack, and we got broken off from the rest of the field. So today, what we really want to try to do is make our way to the front and maintain track position. Track position is the most important thing in these plate races. And we've got 10 laps of fuel. You may have saw as we crossed the line what seems like forever ago. We've got 4 laps left in the stage. So pretty short stage racing here at Talladega for Xfinity. So we don't have a lot of opportunities to get up through the field. As Dylan Lupton got into the back of Morgan Shepherd there, I had to burp the throttle just a little bit to keep from really slamming him as we're underneath our teammate and boss Carl Long, and now we make it 3 wide underneath Lupton, kind of shoving the 13 car up the track, and there is Ty Majeski getting into me. Majeski is a rival, as we discovered in the last video, as we ran 2 short track races, and naturally short track racing ends up with a lot of rubbing, and that usually means in this game that people are going to hate you. So it seems like the pack is spreading out a little bit. They're all going to the high side. Not sure what's going on there. You'd think there's a lot of room to pass here at Talladega, but there really isn't. Because it's such a long, wide track. It's almost like even in the corners you're on a straightaway. So it's really tough to really get runs on people. As we're going to work to the inside of Lupton here. I think we may be able to clear him. There's no one to the outside. We've got Carl behind us pushing, which is really helping me out quite a bit. So thank you, teammate. We'll see if we can get the motorsports business management team up to the front here, even though Carl's kind of falling off the back. It looks like, again, the bottom lane is the one you always want to be on in these plate races. That was close. Tried not to go below the yellow line, even though I kind of got forced down there that time. Had to back out of the gas, even though that's not a rule that's enforced in this game. I try to enforce it on myself just because of legitimacy. I didn't even see how many laps we've got left in the stage. We probably missed our chance to pit under the yellow, or before the stage caution, but we got a really good run down the back straightaway here. We're going to work to the outside, see if that can work us. That's bad. We didn't have any drafting up there. We're going to side draft off of Hemrick for just a second, and then in behind David Starr here. I'm going to try to get a run on him, stay underneath Hemrick. Thank God we managed to keep our bumper just lined up with his rear quarter panel, otherwise that would have been me losing that position. So around Hemrick we go, trying to get to the inside of Starr. Not really happening yet. 1 to go in the stage, and we are just not making up that much time. It seems like as we're starting to get launched up into this pack just as the stage is ending. So that's kind of annoying from that perspective. We've got 6 laps left of fuel. That should be enough to get us to the end of the next stage, I would assume. We're going to move to the E. I was thinking about going to the outside. Don't really have the momentum to. I would like the draft with Joey Gase a little bit. And we've got a mechanical issue. Trouble for somebody. Middle of the pack. Oh, Ty Majeski just absolutely ran into the back of me because he's a rival and he tried to wreck me. Not sure why, but he's going to give me a bump draft. Not really. Well, I don't really appreciate that kind of racing. So we'll turn Majeski around. Oops. You don't want to take revenge at a plate track, and I took revenge at a plate track. That was probably some immaturity there on my part. Not going to lie. Everybody is pitting. So that means David probably needs to pit, doesn't he? As much as I'd like to go for track position, we'll pit. We'll pit. Because we can get the car repaired. And since Majeski decided to try to kill us there. And then we killed Majeski. So, really, who was the loser in that situation? You mess with the big dog, you're going to get the big bite. So we're going in here on the outside, not really where I want to be. We'll get underneath Coleslaw here. And in behind Joey Logano, who doesn't particularly like us either. As we side draft with Gase. That was a little more than a side draft. That was a little more run into Joey Gase there. I think that was Kevin Harvick, by the way, who had that trouble right before the end of the stage. That's what you have to be careful about in NASCAR Heat 2 plate racing, is if somebody has a mechanical issue, that entire line is going to slow down in front of you. Oh, I cannot hold my line for the friggin' life of me. Hemrick's going to go down to the inside. Hemrick actually moved up the track a little bit there. We are really struggling in this outside groove. Car feels way too loose out here. And our teammate and boss is going to go around. Oh, God almighty, I got hit. Okay, we need to get to the bottom here. We need to get to the bottom. Nope, that's not gonna. I should have known we weren't clear. And are we gonna get a yellow? Yeah, and it's gonna end the stage. Well, that blows. Oh, God almighty. This is not going well. This is not going well. Well, we'll come into the pits, 4 tires, fuel, and we'll see if we can get something going here. So we're the only car that pitted under that yellow. Armstrong didn't either. So Xfinity at Talladega, not going the best. As we get back to racing here, in behind Ray Black Jr., I need to be mean to Armstrong here. And we were. So we need to get to the bottom, clearly, because that top lane was not working. We were absolutely getting killed up there. And now we're getting killed down here. What is with the momentum? We just completely lost momentum there. Now in behind Ray Black Jr., who has a huge run. Can't do anything with it, though. But we'll get that run down the back straightaway here. How many laps to go do we have? Well, we've still got 27 laps to go. Or 17 to go. So quite a ways to go. Our fuel is at 10 laps, so there will be a green flag pit stop unless there is a yellow. So at the moment we can kind of stay back here just a little bit. But it's not about being complacent. We don't want to be complacent as, oh, we shoved Ray Black Jr., almost got him underneath Morgan Shepherd there for just a second. We really need to get moving, though. Thankfully, Armstrong is behind me, so we can kind of just hold this, maintain this draft. It's always good to have a car right behind you, otherwise there's always a possibility that you'll lose the draft, which is never fun, as they decide to go 3 wide down into turn number 3. And Harvick looking to block me there. But we're going to keep Harvick away from that position at the moment. Got the boss man up top. Side drafting a little bit with Harvick for 38th place because like a boss. Okay, that's not working, so we'll let Harvick down in between us. Because it looks like Harvick's got a little bit more car than I do. We definitely need a lot more positions, though. We need to be 15th to make the incentive contract, and obviously the points are not going to help or be helped by this racing. But it looks like we're starting to get something moving here. We just need a little bit more time. That's where we're kind of lacking. You know, the first plate race we had was a 50% race at Daytona. This is a 25%er. So obviously a much shorter race is so much harder to move up through the field, you know, quickly in this game versus NASCAR E-Evolution for sure, but NASCAR 15 as well. You can kind of go from the back to the front with relative ease at a plate track if you had the draft. Here, you just have to stay in line and just look at them. Everybody hugging the yellow line. Nowhere really to go unless we could sneak to the inside of Harvick. There we go. But we don't have really a run. Well, the boss is going to go down in front of me, or behind me, I should say. And he couldn't quite give me the momentum to get around these guys. We'll try to get a run here on Harvick. But nothing really doing yet. Last thing I want to do is go to the high side, though. That is the last thing I want to do, because that will kill my momentum. We need momentum because our car is just not that great. And otherwise, we're down on power and probably down on aerodynamics as well. So that combination of things is not very conducive to good plate track racing. We're starting to move up here. We got 14 laps to go in the race. We just got to wait for it to spread out a little bit. By the end of stage 1, it did kind of spread out. So we just kind of got to wait for that moment when we can make our moves and kind of get to the inside of people, because it seems like when there's cars to the outside, nobody wants to really move down low. Oh, as we've got trouble, more trouble again, and we get put in the wall. And thankfully we got a yellow. Thankfully we got a yellow. But that didn't really help because we're going to be right at the back again. Suarez isn't pitting. Suarez is 40th, but he probably already pitted, so we'll pit. We just don't have any options not to. I guess we won't take tires. We'll just try to find something to give us an advantage here. And there you go. Look at that. Not taking tires. We go up to 19th. So we've got a little bit of an advantage here. It also helps that we're on the bottom. So here we go, back to racing, but unfortunately Ty Majeski is right behind me. So that probably means he's going to give me one heck of a bump draft here in a second, because he's going to be upset with me. And it looks like the pack is kind of slow here. A little bit worried that somebody's going to be in trouble up here. Nope, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. It was just everybody slow getting back up to speed. So we're up here in the 16th position, almost where we need to be for the incentive contract. So Tyler Reddick's going to pull down in front of me. We'll just maintain positioning right here. This is a good spot to be in. Fuel's at 10 laps to go, so we should be good, I think, on fuel. We'll see. Be interesting if we weren't. If everybody has to make a splash and dash at the end. So we get in behind Reddick here. Laps to go. 10. Oh boy, it's going to come down to the last lap, isn't it? It's going to come down to a last lap splash and dash. So we're going to hold in the pack here. Well, we could definitely get a good finish. There's no doubt about that. I'm a little bit worried once the pack kind of splits up, if everybody has to pit, what will transpire. It looks like we got a lot of cars moving to the outside. We're giving Reddick a shove all the way down the back straightaway. And still in behind Reddick. I'd love it if Tiff would move up to the top. Well, we moved Reddick up to the top, but that's not really what I wanted to do. We'll let Reddick back in the line. We've got Allgaier behind us, so we got some decently powered cars here. A Ganassi car and a Junior Motorsports car. Those are kind of the strongest Chevys we could be with right now. And of course, we're a Chevy as well, so you kind of hope that they would help us out. You hear so much about the manufacturer battle in NASCAR these days that, come on, Chevy, let's work together. And Kennedy trying to get down into the space between myself and Reddick, and it looks like he'll do that because I didn't have any kind of power to really get a good tow behind Reddick. So we're 14th on the bottom. And we're giving Kennedy a shot. Can't get him under Reddick yet. We're definitely trying to get him underneath Reddick, though, that's for sure. As Allgaier's all up in our grill. Somehow they're making that top lane work up there. They must have incredible power or just really good handling to work the top lane like they are and not lose too much time. Although Tift is losing out now. And in fact, they're going to go 3 wide. Dylan's trying to figure out who he wants to go with. We saw him kind of swerving there. But that 3 wide action kind of slowed everybody down. So that'll give me a run, but nowhere to go with it, of course. Tift falls back quite a bit. And now off into turn number 3 we go. Reddick to the outside. Love to get Kennedy underneath Dylan. Looks like we might be able to shove him past. Yeah, baby, look at that. We opened up the Red Sea a little bit there, getting Dylan up the track because we shoved Kennedy into the hole. So really good run. That probably, if I'd been coming to the finish line, I probably could have made a move and tried to get around Kennedy. Because obviously we need to start thinking about that. We've got 6 laps remaining on fuel. 6, well, probably 7 laps to go in the race because of the weird way this game counts laps. So we're not quite where we need to be on fuel. And we're definitely right about where we need to be in positioning on the racetrack because we are getting up in the field, up into the top 10 and underneath Kennedy. Not quite where I need to be though. So we'll fall in behind. Sadler trying to sneak down into that hole. Not nearly big enough for that number 1 car, I can tell you that. But he's getting a run on the outside with Brandon Jones. And so it's just an absolutely very close pack race here. So I almost went a little too low there. Getting kind of shoved down a little bit by Michael Annette the Threat, who did actually survive his Richmond crash. And oh, by the way, I did know about the audio issue. Apparently I've had a couple audio issues in the videos. I think I've got the problem solved. I think what was happening was my computer was too full on space, and when that happens, it kind of slows down my recording software. I think that's what happens, and that's where you get some lag. So I've cleaned out my computer. I bought a new external hard drive and put a bunch of stuff on there. So I think the audio issues should be resolved, but if there is an audio issue, I feel really bad about that in this video because I thought I had fixed it. Now we've got cars pitting. So back to the race David needs to get to. We've got 5 laps remaining on our fuel. Oh, I was way too low on the track there. Contact with Michael Annette. Are they going to let me back in? Oh no, Mikey. We lost a ton of spots. Dang it. That is exactly not what I wanted to do. Thankfully, we didn't lose the draft. We did lose some spots, so Ryan Sieg behind us. Giving us a nice shove here. Tire wear is not too good at the moment, but it probably won't matter here for the end of the race. Obviously, we're just going to need a splash and dash at the end of this thing to make it to the end. So now we're leading the second pack, which might be advantageous as you've got a lot of cars coming into the pits here, or maybe just 3. It's kind of disappointing that it didn't slow those guys down more than it did. But obviously over the next few laps, there's going to be a lot of pit stops occurring. The good thing, though, is that since we only have 3 laps remaining on our fuel, that means we are going to have a really good, we're going to have a really short pit stop as Majeski. He's going to give us that bump draft. We just need to keep our bumpers lined up here because you know he's mad, but as we found out in the truck series with Cindric being mad at us, a bump draft can help us out significantly from an angry rival. It's kind of an exploit you can use in this game. Get somebody mad at you, go to a plate track, and have them bump draft you all the way to victory. Now, will Majeski come in this time? Yes, he will. Lots of cars coming into the pits. And I'm not close enough to have a run on Tift there, so we'll lose a little bit more. As the Booyah car getting in behind me. We've got 2 laps remaining on fuel. Morgan Shepherd looking to the outside there. Problem is we're just losing a little bit of drafting help here. Hopefully Shepherd will come down in front of me here. And where is that speed coming from? How is Morgan Shepherd able to run that fast? I'm very confused right now. Well, regardless, we're in P9. We've got 2 laps remaining on our fuel. I think we should stay out one more lap. Nobody's really giving me a good... Ryan Sieg is not helping me out here. Even though many cars are coming into the pits, including Sieg. And that's going to be some issues there for us. because I wonder if these guys ahead of us are even going to need to come into the pits. Well, we got two. We just went to 1 lap, so we're going to have to come in this time around, otherwise we're going to run out. Let's see if we can get in front of J.J. Yaley here, block him a little bit, use his draft. We need somebody to push us around here for the last little bit. I don't even know if Yaley is for position. He is. So Yaley's for position, but he is pushing us past 180 miles an hour, which is good. That's what we need right now. Of course, that means we're going to have to come down from a longer pit speed. So that's going to make things even more difficult. So here we come out of turn number 4. More cars coming into the pits. And so is Yaley. So we'll get on the brakes. Down to 55, even though Yaley's going to try to get us a speed in the pits. Splash and dash coming in. Fuel hooks up. And we're gone. It looks like everybody else did a splash and dash as well. You can see the damage from Yaley hitting me there. And we fall back significantly. We fell back significantly. All the way back to 30th. Yaley giving me a shot there. I'm going to block the heck out of Yaley. Screw Yaley. I did not appreciate you doing that to me coming into the pits at all. And we're going to finish not very good. So David, I should have, here's where I made the mistake. I should have come in with the rest of a pack, given my poor speed capabilities in this car. That was my mistake. It's going to cost us an incentive contract, even the easiest possible incentive contract. So Talladega, not going to go very well for us, but we can at least try to keep J.J. Yaley behind us and be the last, or not the last car in the lead lap. As whoever just won the race, won the race. We'll find out here in just a second as we keep Yaley behind us, coming to the line. Well, it went from a top 10 to a top 37. That's unfortunate. But we do have another race at Talladega to go. So 37th. Not very good. Suarez and Sadler. Wow, Ben Kennedy managed to win the race. Well, if we'd stuck with Ben Kennedy, we probably would have been up there. Again, my mistake, not thinking too much at a plate race. So our money's not going to look very good, and unfortunately it probably means the points are probably going to get screwed over as well, as the Motorsports Business Management team pays us 18 grand, and that's all we're getting. Points-wise, we're still 7th in the standings with 2 wins, so it's not a big, major issue at the moment. We're still easily in the chase. But, okay, let's move on to greener pastures and try to earn ourselves a Cup Series contract. And what team are we going to race with? Let's find out. So, as we completed the Xfinity race, and we are going to race for Circle Sport at Talladega in the 33 Dale Senior Tribute Kerry Earnhardt car. Interesting that they're not letting Earnhardt race at a plate race. We need to get a top 22. Do you think we can do it? Let's find out. Hey, we actually made tech inspection, but somehow I suspect that we are going to be last. That was a whole bunch of pointless driving that I just did for no reason. That's also a double negative. That's the word I was looking for. So let's go racing at Talladega and see if we can improve from 39th on the grid.
This week, we make our first stop at Talladega Superspeedway for today's running of the Geico 500. A fan favorite for sure, this 2.66-mile track, the largest in NASCAR, is famous for its tight racing, incredible speeds, and the ever-looming possibility of the big one. The green flag is about to drop, and there's just no place quite like Talladega.
All right, here we go, ready to go racing at Talladega in the Cup Series, our first Cup Series plate race in the career mode, and we have a fantastic start. Really some good acceleration out of this 33 car. Not really expecting, wasn't expecting that, but hey, I'll take it. In behind plate race specialist DJ Kennington, or at least those are the races he participates in, and everybody, whoa, kind of high on the track there. They're definitely not protecting the bottom like they were in the Xfinity Series. That is very interesting. The different dynamics of the plate racing, and obviously, as you can see, completely different style of racing. We're a 3 wide all the way through the field, unlike the plate racing with the Xfinity Series, it was very much a one-groove racetrack. Not so in the Cup Series. Much faster, much more room to move, much more grip in these cars, much lighter. At least they feel much lighter, and it's just over 200 miles an hour. 3 wide, doesn't get much better than this. As they said in the intro, a fan favorite racetrack in the Cup Series. As LaJoie moves down in front of us. And now he moves back up behind Allmendinger. In fact, look at the pairing just in front of LaJoie. I think that's Allmendinger. No, it's Buescher. Oh, I thought it was Allmendinger in the freaking Chase Elliott Hooters car. And of course, if you saw the spring Talladega race, which is the one we're participating in, it's like got underneath David Reagan. I'm not sure I did that. But you guys know how that turned out. It turned out with both of those cars ending up on various states of airborne and upside down. So we don't want to really repeat that. But we are moving up into the top 30, or trying to anyway, underneath David Reagan. Boy, that was a late move. But I love having this horsepower that I didn't have in the Xfinity race, because we're actually able to make some moves, which is very nice. Okay, so here we come in behind Chase Elliott, trying to get that run. So we're kind of discovering what we can and can't do in the Cup Series versus Xfinity, and it looks like we can definitely get some momentum working down the back straightaway, that is for sure. But coming out of turn 2, where I tried to make a move earlier, didn't seem like I quite had as much pace. So it seems like if we can get a run going down the straightaway, we can make the move. But in the corners, and I think that would include the tri-oval, we can't really get anything done, as we're just pushing Eric Jones all the way down through the tri-oval. As we got 10 laps to go in stage number 1. And to the inside of Jones and Casey Kane we go. Very nice, very nice. So underneath, well, maybe, we're going to give Landon Castle a bump. Should we draft with Danica? She's hung out by herself. That was a mistake, because Chase Elliott almost went in there. I think Danica's gotten hung out on the bottom somehow. I'm not sure how one gets hung out on the bottom in a plate track, but Danica almost found a way to do it. As now we work to the inside of Landon Castle. Going for 24th place underneath both him and, not sure who that was. It was a white car. It was Stenhouse. So Stenhouse, and obviously he's very fast. He's making some moves. Of course, we know Stenhouse. He won this race in real life. Winning a lot of the plate races, actually, throughout the year. 2 of the 4, in fact. As we get in behind Michael McDowell. Just running slightly behind him. Little bit of a bump. A little bit more of a bump. I'd love to get to the inside, but I feel like we don't have enough momentum to really get down there. Even though the lane's there, I feel like I would lose positioning. As you saw, I kind of swept to the inside in turn 3, and there we go, because Danica finally moved to the bottom, and that will get us around 3 cars. Newman, Allmendinger, and McDowell. So with help from Danica Patrick, we're moving up into the top 20, or at least the top half of the field, I should say. So we ran our fastest lap of the race in underneath Danica. Oh boy, howdy, that was a late move by Danica. Probably a late move by me as well, pulling out and trying to pass her on the inside. So we'll get in behind Danica, down the back straightaway, just giving her a little bit of a shove. We'll try to get her underneath Larson. Don't think it's going to quite happen. Not yet, anyway. Nope, not happening, but Boyer's out to the outside all by himself, no drafting partner. Well, my theory was right. Staying to the inside is correct, as we've got pit stops occurring. I guess we have to pit. Everybody just stopped. What on earth was that all about? Anyone want to explain any of what just happened to me? Regardless, we are in the pits, getting tires, right sides only, and 2 cans of fuel. We should be out of the pits relatively easily. As you can see, we're going to be out with Dale Jr. Yeah, that was interesting. We did damage the car, but we'll just have to deal with it at the moment. I have no idea why everybody pitted. I guess it's because they couldn't make it to the end, because we only have 10 laps of fuel and it's a 13-lap stage. But regardless, yeah, was not expecting everybody to come into the pits. I guess that's a learning experience there. Just got completely rammed from every direction. And then, to add insult to injury, everybody was slow, you know, and actually stopped on the track. As we're going to be the Pied Piper here, we're going to stop 3 lanes of traffic. As we've got Truex behind us. I think Truex is a good car to have in front of us, or behind us, as we'll get in behind the Dale car, or try to. Austin Dillon is the original Intimidator, remember? Actually, no, he's not. Okay, so in behind Joey Logano here. And we're actually getting a nice draft started here. So if Truex can help me out just a little bit more, I think we can catch Logano and then really start moving up the pack here. As there's cars coming out of the pits, which is making it life a little bit difficult for those guys up in front of us. So it would be smart to get up there and start fighting with them, but instead we're just kind of hanging back. Come on, let's go. Let's go. I guess I should have remembered that the wonky pit action from the Plate Racing Doesn't Suck video, where I took a look at the Plate Racing and NASCAR Heat Evolution, or NASCAR Heat 2, excuse me. But I had forgotten that it gets wonky with the stages. So 5 laps remaining in stage number 1. And somehow Kurt Busch just has a rocket ship and was able to pass me with the greatest of ease. We've got 11% aero damage, so that is no bueno. I can tell you that, it is no bueno. I really wish Truex would push me. Push me, Truex. We're not doing anything. Alright, we're going to block some Toyotas here. Watch, Truex is going to pass me on the outside. How are you doing that? How are you doing that? Okay, in behind Truex. Trying to get that draft going. Yeah, Suarez is just not pushing me enough. I don't know why the AI is so timid to draft with you. It was very annoying. We're just gonna side draft Kyle Busch. Try to pull him down to my speed. Because again, that's how they always explain the side draft, is you're not really gaining yourself anything, you're kind of pulling the guy in front of you back to you. Well, that was a little too much of a side draft. And, well, we got a yellow. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Well, we were moving up through the field quite nicely. We're 17th at the end of the stage. Everybody is pitting, so that means I can come in for freaking repairs, which I desperately need. We're going to take no tires, fuel only, since we took tires. And hey, look, we're in the lead. So our Xfinity experience paid off in the fact that we know what we're doing with pit strategy in these plate races. So we're green. And we've got Keselowski, probably the best overall plate racer in the sport at the moment, just out to our outside. But we just dusted him off like he was a nobody. So we are going to have to pit during this stage as well. We have 4 laps of fuel that we are going to not have, because our tank only lasts 10. So now we're going to have to try to block 3 lanes of traffic. Which one is going to go fastest? Keselowski, and then I don't have the handling to block all 3 lanes, so we're going to go 3 wide all the way through the field. Oh boy, this is not where I want to be. Somehow I managed to get in front of Stenhouse, so that's good. But look at the run that everybody has got down to the inside. Oh, second contact with Suarez. Woo, boy howdy, that was close. And I just blocked Hamlin there. People are probably absolutely hating me. I will never have anybody work with me again because I am just driving like terrible on the plate track here. All right, up in front of Blaney, trying to get that draft off of Austin Dillon. Not happening. Now the Dillons are working. Both of the Dillons have passed me. Okay, let's get to the bottom here. In behind Ty Dillon. Now the draft is really picking up down here. This is weird though. It always feels like you have a way stronger draft on the bottom. I wish that you would have strong draft on the top as well. That's probably my one complaint with the plate racing in this game. It just doesn't feel like you can ever get any momentum on the top. So over 200 miles an hour. And we are running in the money position where we need to be. 22nd is where we earn this contract for the next season. Oh, and there's a yellow. Well. Let's take a fuel gamble. Let's go in and pit. Take some tires, some repairs, and we'll see if this works. Denny Hamlin did not pit. Landon Castle is out of the race, 13 laps behind. So we're going to have 10 laps on fuel. And there are going to be, in the stage, 9 laps to go. We made a good decision. That means we are going to possibly win this stage, assuming we can stay ahead of Hamlin. And we have to avoid the cars coming into the pit, so at some point we're going to have to work to the outside, as it looks like Daniel Suarez is working way too high to the outside and is losing big time. So we're going to get in behind Allmendinger here. Or are we going to try to make it 4 wide? Boy, if I had a little bit more of a run on Timmy Hill, I would have done it. I would have done it. But I didn't have that run, so I didn't get to make a stupid move. Probably a good idea. Probably a good thing that that didn't happen. Is anybody peeling off into the pits? You got to be so careful about that. As we saw earlier, that'll screw us out of a stage win. So we can get in behind Kenseth here. 8 laps to go in the stage. 200 miles an hour, no problem. Just tapping Kenseth just slightly. And now down the back straightaway, flat out. A little bit of contact with Kenseth. Well, maybe we can get some momentum going here on the top. We'll see. Gase in behind us. We're chasing Allmendinger. But we need to stay off that bottom because I just do not trust it with the pit stops the way they are. We need to stay ahead of Hamlin. Hamlin's the one we desperately need to stay ahead of. As Kennington moves up to help me out a little bit. And then he dumps me. A little bit of contact with Kane. As you heard, the spotter was unhappy with my move there. Keeping Gase behind us. I tried to block Hamlin again, and it didn't happen. So Hamlin goes out in front. Oh, we're going to freaking lose the draft, aren't we? Well, we'll see. Nope, Gase is going to keep in front of us. Buescher keeps behind us. There's a pit stop. There's another pit stop. So we're having pit stops. So that means things are going to get wild here in a second. So we're going to have to stay wide off of turn 4 at all costs. Because otherwise things are going to get stupid again. We have a good run here, but nothing doing. Can't do anything with it. The only thing that could be positive here is if Hamlin really gets screwed when we're coming into the pits. It looks like Hamlin's moving to the outside. Everybody moving low here. Got to be so careful. In 3 and 4, I got to make the move to the outside very decisively here, but not lose the draft. If Buescher doesn't come into the pits, we need to keep ahead of him. And here come the stops. Everybody coming in, and Hamlin got screwed. Perfect. Exactly what I needed. And we're going to keep drafting with Sadler. I don't know if we're going to be able to hang on the back of him, though. We're going to friggin' try, though. Yeah. Well, no, we're going to hang on to the back of him because we've had all sorts of trouble. Bunch of cars slowing down. What is going on here? Did everybody run out of fuel? It certainly seems that way. Holy cow. The entire field just ran out of fuel. The entire field just ran out of fuel except for Cole Witt and Ryan Newman. No, they ran out of fuel too. They're slow on the inside. So it's going to be a battle between myself and Denny Hamlin. And Hamlin almost got screwed by those guys coming into the pits. So we've got 5 laps to go in the stage. Or 5 laps on our fuel. We'll see how many laps to go in the stage here in just a second. as we are coming around to take 4 to go in the stage. Fuel mileage, 5 laps to go. And we're coming out right in the middle of the pack. So that's a good sign for us. As, oh, Hamlin gets held up there. So we're going to dive in here behind Danica Patrick, try to use the draft effectively. Danica seems to be increasing her pace. Maybe that was a good idea by Hamlin to make that move when he did. Here comes Trevor Bayne and Denny. I block Bayne. I block Denny. Denny's the one I need to block. Bayne is not. And there goes Hamlin into the pits. So we will continue to maintain the lead. Unbelievable. What a weird, wacky stage this is going to be. As we've got cars very slow coming out of the pits. That's either going to help or hurt us. I'm not really sure. We do have help from David Reagan behind us. And if we can catch Stenhouse kind of quickly here, doesn't look like we're going to have quite the draft we need on Stenhouse. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, baby. It looks like Stenhouse is in trouble, actually. That's the only reason we caught him. So Stenhouse has a mechanical failure there. So he falls through the field. We're almost underneath the yellow line there, which isn't good. But if we can just stay ahead of these guys, as McDowell has quite a run to the inside. Oh no, we're going to be an old sucker hole here. We just hit the halfway mark in the race, so long way to go still. As we cross down in front of Chase Elliott. In behind Ralph. I remembered to say his name right. All right, we're behind Ralph, and Redneck Jesus is behind us. Or Redneck Jesus Jr. behind us. The original Redneck Jesus is ahead of him, but now that he's retired, his name is Ralph. So we got to keep Ralph within our sights here. And I don't know how many laps are left in the stage. So we've got 2 laps left in the stage and 2 laps in the fuel tank. Kind of a little closer than I might like to have cut it close. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't, but screw it. Okay, so we gotta be the Pied Piper here. Gotta be the Pied Piper. So we got 1 lap to go on the stage, 2 laps to go on the fuel. I think we'll be able to make it relatively easily back to the start-finish line. I'd love to keep as many of these cars a lap down as I can, even though it doesn't matter, they're going to wave around anyway. But screw it. We got another, looks like maybe somebody's slowing on the top. No, I thought somebody was slowing up top. But hey, we're going to Greg Biffle our way into a stage victory here. Assuming we don't get NASCAR here and they throw the yellow. But then again, if they throw the yellow, the stage is over. Never mind. Let's just stay out here. Come on, baby. I understand I'm running on fumes, but we're going to make a stage win here. Don't you want Circle Sport to get a stage win? These all-important stage playoff points, something, something, something. All right, here we go. Coming to the checkered flag in this stage, we are going to get a victory, or at least a stage victory, for Circle Sport Racing. Yeah, baby. Kyle Larson in second, just adding to the fantastic nature of this amazing awesome stage. And I'm not just saying this stage was awesome because I won it, because that would be biased. We're waiting for everybody to cross the line, which is going to take about 10 years because I think I had about a 3/4 of a lap lead. So how is your day? How is your day going? Let me know in the comments if you're waiting for the stage 2 results to come in. There we go. Okay, Almirola, God almighty, he got second. So we got Smithfield in second. Everybody's pitting again. So hey, guess what? We get to come in, do full service, and not have to worry about it. All right. So we got Smithfield on the outside, Eric Jones, Kyle Larson, and this time I'm going to make sure that they don't get a run on me. So we're just going to let Almirola go through, and Eric Jones, he changed lanes before the start-finish line. He's going to get a penalty. Anyway. There we go. That's much better. That was a much better restart. I didn't get that huge jump, which I think screwed me over in the last restart. So, 10 laps on fuel. Everybody's pretty much even on fuel now. As there's a freight train a-coming right by me. But we'll get in behind Jones here and Truex, so Furniture Row Racing just ahead of me. And I'd love to just maintain this front pack here. or stay in this front pack. That's what we're going to try to do, if we can. Getting a really good run on Truex. Jones looking very low to the inside. Not sure what he was doing down there. Really good run behind Truex. 17 to go. 9 laps on fuel. So one more stop and that will be the end of the race. Or we'll be able to make it to the end of the race. Our tires are good, so we'll be able to take no tires. At least I'm not going to take any tires. Just to maybe make the stop half a second quicker. Because that half a second could mean the difference between victory and defeat. You just never know. As we get a huge run, 206 miles an hour going into turn 3 behind Truex. So Almirola leading the race from Furniture Row and Circle Sport. This is 2006's least likely scenario right now. As Almirola falling through the field to the outside, Furniture Row just dumped Eric Almirola. And now we've got Earnhardt Power hooking up together. The 33 and the 3 working together. Ryan Newman coming up into this pack. In fact, everybody's coming up into this pack. Truex and friggin' Jones, you idiots, you got the whole pack back to us. If we had stayed in a line, if you guys had dumped the freaking Smithfield car, we would be checking out and be able to race amongst ourselves for the win. But no, you guys decided to play team games and get selfish, and now we're in a pack again. Darn Furniture Row Toyotas doing all that cheating as we block the absolute crap out of Dylan. And look at this run everybody got around me. Well, that's a bit frustrating. So we'll stick in behind Johnson here. Try to get that run down the back straightaway. As Boyer and Dylan just maintaining space behind me. 200 miles an hour. And now the Furniture Row guys are side by side, so they're screwing themselves at the moment. Some selfish driving from the Furniture Row guys. So very selfish. But I think we've got a pretty good run here as long as Dylan just kind of stays somewhat behind us. We'll be able to get right up into this pack in the next couple of laps. As they go 3 wide with Allmendinger in the middle. Not sure what he's thinking. I think he's thinking he's going to get a win. Still a long way to go as we get in behind Flying Ryan here. Try to draft him. We're going to try a slingshot behind Smithfield. Go on, focus on the Smithfield. We're going to get around Flying Ryan Newman. Okay, very nice. That was some good drafting by me. We got held up just a little bit by Almirola. And that actually broke our momentum there. We had really good momentum. And we lost it. Cole Witt. Is that Cole Witt? Yes, it is. He's up in this fight. We keep Dylan just behind, and Almirola was scraping the wall there going into turn 1. That's the David Land line up there. Not sure why he thought scraping the wall going into the corner was a good idea, but he did it. Truex is hung out to dry. And Newman, well, I thought Newman was going up there to help him, but I think he was going up there mainly because I gave him a huge bump draft. We go 207 into turn 3 at Talladega. Those are Bill Elliott speeds going in there. And there's a yellow. That is going to make it a trophy dash for the finish. So. No repairs. Let's go. Let's go with no tires. It's probably going to put us back in the lead. Allmendinger alongside us. But we did a good job on the restart the last time, knowing what we had to do. But you can't lose too much time, or we need to lose time. We can't have too good of a restart, I mean. Which I think I did pretty well here. I really don't think I can lead. But I certainly can pass at the end. I've got a good race car, I don't have a good lead car. So Johnson, the top lane, getting some momentum up there. Gonna move in front of Newman and Johnson. We'll try to box Jones out. I don't think it's gonna happen. But we can work with third. We can work with third, I think. We'll see how selfish those two get. If they start running side by side. We're still not up to speed. Oh, that was close with Newman. There we go. Newman had a lot of momentum going by. And we're on the yellow line, not where we should be. That's out of bounds. There's only 9 laps to go. We are on the absolute edge of being able to make it on fuel. And I'm not sure we can. It's going to be nip and tuck here at the end of this race. I can tell you that. So we've got an amazing run here on Ryan Newman. Underneath Jones. We're actually going to lift going off into turn 3. Just to try to keep from passing these guys, because if we pass them, I think we're going to be toast. We've got one move for the lead, I think, in us. Because otherwise, if we go too soon, we're going right to the back as we go almost underneath the yellow line trying to keep Johnson from passing us. Jones is going back through, and they're getting selfish at the front, so that's going to create a huge hole in the air, and they're going to kill their momentum. As I slid the car a little bit, and that will not help the situation at hand. As Jones pushes Newman to the lead. Allmendinger falling back just a little bit. We're going to keep Witt and Johnson behind us. That third lane's starting to get some momentum as well with all my blocking, with Blaney going to the outside. But Allmendinger is helping pulling us along. When are they going to pit? Are they going to pit? Is anybody going to have to pit? We just hit 7 laps to go coming out of turn 4, I think. I'm going to have to look at where we hit that last, where we hit 7 laps to go, because it's going to be close if we try to stretch it to the end of the race, whether we can make it on fuel or not. So we're in behind Jones here. They're getting greedy again. They're going 3 wide. Nobody helping each other with the draft. Gonna block Truex, block Johnson, block Truex. Witt actually got forced to the extreme outside. Ooh, that was close. That was very close with Truex. We just got to keep them all behind. Oh, there it is. Johnson finally slipped to the inside and ripped me, at least for now. Eee, that was close. Not as many cars got to the inside as I thought they would. That's, I guess, a good thing. I wasn't paying any attention to the fuel because I was getting absolutely screwed from behind. But now we're back in behind Truex here. LaJoy is up in this pack. It's all kicking off as we're in behind Truex Jr. here, pushing this group down the back straightaway. We're gonna kind of form up into a line here, I think. It's gonna depend on who gets greedy first. It kind of breaks it all up into not a line anymore. Gotta make sure nobody's coming in. There's some pit stops. There it was. I knew it was coming. They were too orderly, and I was worried about that. And then it happened. Danica Patrick moving up here. Corey LaJoy in this mix. So okay, we need to look at fuel. We need to pay attention to this as best we can because we're getting swamped right now. Danica moves up into third. We need to try to maintain the draft as best we can here. This is the same situation that we found ourselves in at the Xfinity race. But thankfully, we have a little bit more speed by our lonesome, I guess. But we really need the draft here. Gonna work to the outside. Try not to get screwed coming off of turn 4. If everybody pits. I hear the leader is pitting. Oh, no! Big crash. Thankfully, we got the yellow. Oh, boy. 4 laps of fuel, 5 laps remaining. We're going to pit. We're going to come in for 1 can of fuel. We're going to repair the car. Probably going to put us back Yeah, put us back to 19th. So we're in overtime, but we've just got to be 22nd. I think we can do that. But we can get a good restart this time. Since we're not in the lead, we don't have to really worry about getting screwed by the pack too much here. We can gain some cheap positions down to the inside. Now, underneath. Oh, that was a little too much underneath Keselowski. Wasn't exactly what I wanted to be doing. Seems like the bottom lane's kind of slow here. Should we go 4 wide? Thought about it. Not really anybody. Well, now Reagan makes that move to the inside. I wish he would have done that just a little bit earlier. Otherwise, I would have had that move down to the inside, making it 4 wide. But hey, you got to make some moves at some point. We got a good draft on Blaney. Keselowski's going to sneak down into that open space. So it's a couple Penske cars working together. And behind Keselowski. 201 miles an hour down into turn 1. And underneath Keselowski we go. 200 miles an hour. Bain looking to the inside. Can we get underneath Bain? This is a risky maneuver, but it's the last lap. We got to go for it. Oh, side drafted with Keselowski. We got a lot of Fords actually over here. It's like the whole Ford contingent is mid-pack here. As we come to the last corner of the race. Getting a really good run behind Blaney. Sneak up high, try to cut in underneath. Didn't really work. I was hoping they would slow up a little bit so I could really get an aggressive move to the inside. Not going to happen. Are we going to get lucky 13th? Oh, I think we are. It's going to be very close. Nope, 14th. Wow. That was an intense plate race. Very intense. So 14th with a stage win, and ironically we finished right next to the other stage winner, Brad Keselowski. Down through the rest of the field, Landon Castle never returned to the race, and Denny Hamlin must have actually had a mechanical issue when we were racing him for that stage victory. So we did make the incentive contract, so that's a good thing. We are 33rd in the Cup Series points with 2 wins, so we're not in the top 30, so we're not chase eligible yet. So we got that top 22 finish that we needed to gain that contract, so that's very good. That was intense. That was a lot of plate racing for one video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you at Charlotte for the Hennessy 4K TV 300. Unfortunately, we will not be allowed to race the Coke 600, but I guess we'll have to hold off on that until we race in the Cup Series full-time next season. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you at Charlotte.